The first thing people saw in the courtroom was not my face. It was the wedding dress. My wedding dress. The ivory satin one with pearl buttons down the back, lace from my grandmother's veil sewn into the sleeves, and one tiny blue ribbon hidden inside the hem because my mother once told me every bride needed something hopeful. My sister, Tova had worn that dress in the photo she posted 3 weeks before trial. She was standing beside my fiancé, Kip Hollander, smiling like she had won a crown. Under the picture she wrote, "Some love stories find the right bride late." That was the caption. That was how she announced she had taken my wedding, my man, my money, and my family's sympathy in one afternoon. But what she did not know was that I had already printed her secret in triplicate, sealed it in a blue folder, and handed one copy to my attorney before she ever touched that dress. My name is Wrenley, and before you judge me for walking into court against my own sister, stay with me. Stories like mine do not begin with one betrayal. They begin with 1,000 little permissions. A mother saying, "Let it go, she is fragile." A father saying, "Don't embarrass the family." A fiancé saying, "You are making this bigger than it is." And if you have ever been the quiet one in your family, the one everyone expects to absorb the damage and smile politely, then subscribe right now, because this story is for people who have swallowed pain until the truth finally had to speak for them. I was 38 when I got engaged to Kip Hollander in Ashbury Creek, Ohio. He was a real estate broker with expensive shoes, gentle hands, and the kind of voice that made waitresses forgive late payments, and old women call him respectful. My parents loved him before I was sure I did. My younger sister Tova loved him too, but I made the mistake of calling it charm. Tova had always been dramatic, always wounded, always somehow at the center of any room that was supposed to belong to someone else. At my graduation, she fainted. At my promotion dinner, she cried about a breakup. At my engagement party, she stood in the kitchen with Kip for 22 minutes, laughing over some private joke while I cut cake alone in the dining room. The dress was my grandmother's gift. Not bought, not borrowed, gifted. Grandma Mabel had saved pieces of her own wedding gown in cedar paper for 56 years, and before she died, she told me, "Wrenley, don't let anyone wear your life like a costume." I thought she meant be brave. I did not know she was warning me about my own blood. I paid a seamstress named Arden Pike to build the dress around those old lace panels. I paid the first deposit for the venue. I paid the photographer. I paid the florist. Kip said his money was tied up in a property deal, but he would make it right after closing. I believed him. That sentence cost me $41,870. The first crack came from a bank alert at 2:14 in the morning. A transfer had gone from our wedding account to a private payment app under the name T. Harrow. I sat up in bed so fast my pillow hit the floor. Kip was asleep beside me, or pretending to be. When I asked him about it the next morning, he rubbed his eyes and said, "Your sister needed help. She was scared to ask you." $5,000, then $8,000, then another $2,000 marked medical. When I called Tova, she whispered, "I can't talk." Kip promised he would handle it. Promised. Not offered. Promised. That word sat in my stomach like a stone. If you are listening and you already feel the shape of the lie, don't leave yet. Subscribe, because the ugliest part was not that my sister took money. It was how carefully she taught everyone to call my questions cruelty. 2 days later, my mother, Narissa Harrow, invited me to Sunday lunch. My father, Lowell, sat at the head of the table like a judge who had already chosen the verdict. Tova came in wearing a loose cream sweater and no makeup. Kip came 10 minutes after her, though he had told me he was meeting a client. Nobody explained that. They just looked at me with pity, which is worse than anger because pity pretends it is holy. Then Tova put one hand on her stomach and said, "I didn't want it to come out like this." My fork slipped from my hand. Kip lowered his head. My mother started crying. My father said, "Wrenley, you are old enough to understand that life changes." That was his sentence. Life changes. Not, your fiancé betrayed you. Not, your sister crossed a line. Just life changes, as if a storm had blown through and not two adults with phones, passwords, and a payment history. Tova claimed she was pregnant. She claimed Kip was the father. Kip said he had been confused, that he loved me in a steady way, but loved Tova in a way that felt like fate. My mother squeezed Tova's shoulder. My father told me not to make this legal. "A baby is involved," he said. "Do not punish an innocent child." I looked at Kip and asked, "When did you stop being mine?" He said, "Don't make me answer that in front of everyone." That was when I understood. They wanted my silence, not my healing. The dress disappeared the following Thursday. I had kept it in the guest room closet at my parents' house because my apartment was small and the seamstress had finished the final fitting early. My mother said she moved it for safety. My father said he had no idea. Tova would not answer. Then I saw the picture online. My sister stood in my dress at Blakemore Chapel, the same chapel I had booked, beside my fiancé, holding my bouquet colors, with my parents in the background smiling like proud survivors of my inconvenience. I did not scream. That surprises people. They want broken women to throw plates so the guilty can point and say, "See, she is unstable." I did something quieter. I took screenshots. I downloaded bank statements. I called Arden Pike, the seamstress, and asked for the signed design contract proving the dress belonged to me. I called the venue and asked who had changed the bride's name on the reservation. Then I called an attorney named Bellamy Quist, a woman with silver hair, calm eyes, and the most dangerous, polite voice I had ever heard. Bellamy listened without interrupting. Then she asked, "Do you still have access to the shared wedding email?" I said yes. Kip had forgotten to remove me. Inside that account were messages between Kip and Tova. Not love messages, strategy messages. They discussed how to push Wrenley out without a public scene. They discussed using the pregnancy to make my parents pressure me. Tova wrote, "Once Mom thinks there's a baby, she'll make Wren back down." Kip wrote, "Need the dress. She won't fight you if everyone says it's for the baby." Then there were money transfers, fake invoice attachments, and one receipt from a novelty medical document site. That receipt changed everything. Tova was not pregnant. She had bought a fake ultrasound image, edited the name, and sent it to my parents and Kip. At first, I thought Kip had been fooled. Then Bellamy found the second message. Kip had written, "Make sure the date matches. Lowell will notice." My fiancé had not been trapped by my sister. He had helped build the trap. Now listen closely, because this is where most people lose their power. They run straight to Facebook. They post everything. They warn the villains. I did not. I let Tova plan her stolen wedding. I let my mother leave voicemails saying a real sister would step aside. I let Kip send me a text offering to repay some dress costs if I signed a statement saying I gave Tova permission to wear it. I let my father tell our church circle that I was having a grief reaction. Every lie they told became evidence of intent. So yes, subscribe, because sometimes revenge is not loud. Sometimes it is a calendar, a printer, and a woman finally refusing to explain herself to people committed to misunderstanding her. We filed a civil claim for conversion of property, fraud, and misappropriation of funds from the joint wedding account. Bellamy also sent subpoenas for payment records. That word made Kip nervous. Subpoena. Men like Kip survive in fog. Legal paper is sunlight. The week before court, he came to my apartment with flowers from a grocery store. He stood under the porch light and said, "Wren, we can fix this privately." I asked, "Where is my dress?" He said, "Tova already altered it." My throat tightened, but I kept my voice even. "You cut my grandmother's lace?" He looked away. That was the first time I nearly broke. The courtroom was small, no dramatic balcony, no movie music, just brown benches, fluorescent lights, and a clerk who looked bored until Bellamy placed the dress box on the evidence table. Tova walked in wearing soft pink, hand on her stomach again. Kip wore a navy suit and guilt disguised as confidence. My parents sat behind them, not behind me, behind them. My mother would not meet my eyes. My father stared straight ahead like I was a stranger trying to ruin his good name. Their attorney tried to paint me as bitter. He said the dress had been family property. He said the money transfers were emotional support between relatives. He said Tova believed she was pregnant and made decisions under stress. The judge, Marin Kettridge, asked Tova directly, "Are you currently pregnant?" Tova lowered her eyes. "I suffered a loss," she whispered. My mother gasped. My father put a hand over his mouth. Kip closed his eyes like a man in prayer. It was beautiful theater. For 6 seconds, even I felt the old pull of family habit, the urge to soften, the urge to protect the person hurting me. Then Bellamy stood ha-ha. She did not raise her voice. She placed 3 papers on the projector. The receipt for the fake ultrasound, the email where Tova asked Kip, "Should I say miscarriage if court asks?" and the transfer where Kip paid the website fee from our wedding account. The room changed temperature. My mother's crying stopped so suddenly it was almost a sound. My father leaned forward. Kip whispered, "Tova." And Tova, my fragile sister, the woman everyone protected, turned to him with pure rage and said, "You told me she would never fight." There it was. The secret did not just expose her. It opened the whole machine. Bellamy moved next to the messages about the dress. Tova had written, "If I wear it first, it becomes mine emotionally." Kip had replied, "Just get it altered before she can demand it back." Arden Pike testified that the dress was custom-made for me, paid by me, using lace I personally supplied from my grandmother's estate. Then the venue manager testified that Kip had changed the contract using my electronic signature after I was removed from the planning email. My father stood up once and said, "This is enough." Judge Kettridge looked at him and said, "Sir, sit down or step out." He sat. That moment healed something small in me. Not everything, but something. Because for once, my father's command did not control the room. The judge ordered the dress returned to me, even though it had been altered. She ordered Kip and Tova jointly responsible for repayment of stolen funds, damages, and attorney fees. She referred the forged signature issue for further review. The stolen wedding collapsed before lunch. Blakemore Chapel canceled the reservation after the testimony. The photographer refunded what she could and sent me a private message that said, "I'm sorry. I knew something felt wrong." My parents left without speaking to me, but the real ending did not happen in court. It happened 2 weeks later in my apartment when my mother knocked on my door holding a plastic garment bag. Inside was the dress, shortened, tightened, the blue ribbon gone, the grandmother lace cut at the wrists. My mother said, "Tova is not doing well." I said, "Neither was I." She flinched like my pain was an accusation she had not prepared for. Then she said, "We thought you were strong enough to survive it." That sentence told me everything. They had not chosen Tova because she was right. They chose her because they thought I would not make them pay. I took the dress, but I did not let my mother inside. I told her, being strong was never permission. She cried. I did not comfort her. That may sound cold, but some tears arrived too late to be given shelter. Kip tried to call me for months. I blocked him after one voicemail where he said, "I miss who we were before all this." Before all this. As if betrayal had fallen from the sky. Tova moved 2 counties away and told people I destroyed her happiness. Maybe that version helps her sleep. My father sent one check with no note. My mother sent a birthday card that said, "Family is complicated." I mailed it back unopened. And the dress? I did not wear it. I took it to a textile artist in Cleveland who turned the remaining lace into a framed piece with Grandma Mabel's old words stitched beneath it. "Don't let anyone wear your life like a costume." It hangs above my desk now, not as a wound, as evidence that something stolen can still become a witness. So if you stayed this far, subscribe, because stories like this are not just about revenge. They are about record keeping when everyone calls you dramatic. They are about the quiet person finally bringing receipts. They are about learning that peace does not always come from forgiveness. Sometimes peace comes from a judge looking at the people who broke you and saying, "Now answer the question." I walked into that courtroom without a fiancé, without a sister I could trust, and without the wedding I had planned. But I walked out with my name cleared, my money ordered back, and my silence finally understood. Tova took my dress, and Kip took my future, or so they thought. But the truth took the stand before either of them could say, "I do." And that was the only vow that mattered. Commentary, discussion, explanation, and lessons. Now we are going to talk about this story. We are not just listening to what happened. We are also going to understand it. We are going to see why Wrenley stayed quiet, why her sister Tova did this, why Kip betrayed her, and why the family supported the wrong person. This story is not only about a wedding dress. It is about trust, family pressure, money, lies, and quiet proof. At the start, we see Wrenley in court. This is very important. The story does not start with a happy wedding plan. It starts with pain already open in front of everyone. We already know that her sister took her fiancé and her wedding dress. But we still want to know how it happened. That makes the story more interesting. We feel that something big is hidden. We want to know what secret Wrenley has in her hands. Wrenley is not a loud woman. She does not fight in the street. She does not post angry messages online. She watches. She saves messages. She collects bank records. She waits for the right time. This is one of the strongest parts of the story. Many people think silence means weakness, but here, silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Wrenley is hurt, but she is not careless. Now let us talk about Tova. Tova is Wrenley's sister, but she does not act like a sister. She wants the man, the wedding, the dress, and the family's love. She uses fake pain to get support. She says she is pregnant, but it is not true. This fake pregnancy is a big twist. It shows that Tova did not make one small mistake. She planned things. She used emotions as a weapon. She knew her family would protect her if they believed a baby was involved. Kip is also very important in this story. At first, he looks like a man trapped between 2 sisters. But later we learn that he is part of the fraud. He helps Tova. He uses wedding money. He helps make the fake pregnancy look real. This changes everything. He is not confused. He is not innocent. He is selfish. He wants to escape responsibility, but he also wants to keep control. The family's role is painful. Wrenley's parents do not ask for the full truth. They quickly stand with Tova. Why? Because Tova looks weak and emotional. Wrenley looks strong and quiet. Sometimes families make this mistake. They think the strong person can handle more pain. They think the quiet person does not need care. But this is wrong. Strong people also break. Quiet people also bleed inside. The wedding dress is not just a dress in this story. It is a symbol. It has grandmother's lace. It has memories. It has love. When Tova takes it, she is not only taking cloth. She is taking Wrenley's place. She is trying to wear Wrenley's life like a costume. That is why the line from Grandma Mabel is so powerful. Do not let anyone wear your life like a costume. The court scene gives the story its justice. In court, feelings are not enough. Tears are not enough. Drama is not enough. Proof matters, messages matter, receipts matter, bank transfers matter. This is why Wrenley wins. She does not win because she is louder. She wins because she is prepared. When Bellamy shows the fake ultrasound receipt and the messages, the whole truth comes out. Tova and Kip cannot hide behind emotion anymore. One very strong moment is when Tova says, "You told me she would never fight." This line tells us everything. They did not think Wrenley was wrong. They thought she was too quiet to defend herself. They believed they could take from her because she would stay silent. But they were wrong. The ending is also very deep. Wrenley gets justice, but she does not get everything back. The dress is damaged. The family bond is damaged. Her trust is damaged. This makes the ending feel real. Justice does not always make life perfect again, but it gives your name back. It gives your peace back. It shows people the truth. So what do we learn from this story? First, never ignore small red flags. A secret transfer, a strange message, a hidden conversation. These things matter. Small signs can show a big lie. Second, do not let people use your kindness against you. Being calm is good. Being forgiving is good. But you must also protect yourself. Third, family should not mean blind support. If someone is wrong, they are wrong. Even if they are family, love without truth becomes unfair. Fourth, proof is powerful. When people lie, do not only argue. Save records, save messages, save payments. Truth becomes stronger when it has evidence. Fifth, strong people need care too. Just because someone does not cry in public does not mean they are not hurting. And the last lesson is this: your life belongs to you. Your dreams, your money, your name, your love, and your future are not things other people can steal and rename. If someone tries to take your place, you do not have to become cruel. You only have to become clear. This story shows that quiet justice can be stronger than loud revenge. Wrenley lost a wedding, but she saved herself. And sometimes saving yourself is the real happiness.